Danny?
Tuan miscommunicated. I can feel the heat and the sun. Hold up, Tuan. I'm feeling it in the quads.
Say hi to YouTube. First Warriors game.
Hello, my name is Danny. I work in the hospitality industry here in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, where Waikiki and Pearl Harbor is located in. Hawaii is a major travel destination. Hawaii was greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in hospitality. I was affected by the pandemic because the hotel shut down valet services, so I essentially lost my job. I work for Hilton Hotels and Resorts as a hourly employee. The last time I worked as a parking valet was March 21st, 2020, because my department ended up shutting down parking services. And then essentially, a little bit afterwards, the hotel did shut down entirely. The hotel did reopen in December of 2020. I was temporarily furloughed due to working for a union property. The hotel is represented by the Unite Here Local 5 union. So I was grateful that I was part of a union hotel and my job would be guaranteed when the hotel opens up and when they call me back into work. So I was glad to hear about that. Honestly, if I did lose my job, I would have looked for a job right away because I didn't want to be on unemployment and use that service if I didn't have to. And I just wanted to be busy while working too. I started to file for unemployment right away after March 21st, 2020 because I had to supplement my income that I lost. I did receive a couple stimulus checks along the way, so I was very happy for that. While I was home during the pandemic, I was able to do everything I wanted to do. Sleep 7 a.m. in the morning, stay up late, watch TV, watch sports, watch Korean drama, spend time with my mom, and spend time with my dogs. So I got to do a lot of free time that an adult wouldn't normally have because you would have to work every week and you would only have a couple of days off most likely. I think during the pandemic the longest I stayed up watching Korean drama was 32 hours straight. So I really enjoyed that. I got to watch a lot of series and watch the most Korean dramas I ever watched in my whole life. So I kept filing the unemployment claims till Hilton called me back, and then I went for my orientation June 15 because Hilton has a thing that you have to be called back within 2 years, and if you become inactive for 2 years, they can let you go, even though I am part of a union hotel. So I'm grateful I made it within my 2 years. So during the orientation, I found out about the safety protocols, how things are different at the hotel. You have to wear a face mask everywhere, and especially talking to the guests. You have to keep your hands clean, wash your hands with soap as much as you can, use a sanitized station, sanitize hands often, and keep in check with your health. So if you're sick, don't come into work and try to get tested right away just to make sure. By that time I got called to the orientation, I was fully vaccinated. I got my first dose in March and then my second dose in April. When I went to the orientation, I found out that my position of parking valet would not be coming back yet. and that Hilton had no timetable to when valet would come back yet, so I had to do work opportunity as a doorman till valet came back. Ironically, doorman is in the same department as parking valet because it's part of parking services, and I was a doorman because I applied for the position and I was trained for it, and I was a doorman for several months before I went back to my original position of parking valet. So I just had to do work opportunity as a doorman till valet came back. There was no choice for me. So I would work and do partial unemployment. In the month I got called back by Hilton, June, I did have a couple shifts throughout the month. And July I was able to get some shifts. And then August was when I would start having one shift one week, then the next week not work, then one shift the next week, then the next week not work at all. Then September I got no hours, October no hours, and November no hours. So I was just enjoying my free time still at this point, because I would just be working once a week, or even at most it was 3 shifts a week. So really not back to full-time work. So I didn't really break my bad sleeping habits that I developed during the pandemic. Doing partial unemployment was not an easy thing, because when you were on unemployment and you didn't have to report any hours, it was totally simple and you would get paid on time. But when you do partial unemployment and you record the amount of hours that you did work, so when I did work opportunity for a doorman, I would record the amount of hours I worked for that week, then I would file for the unemployment claim. But when you do that, Hilton HR has to send something to unemployment, so that way it all adds up. But in the beginning that didn't happen, and I was worried that I messed up unemployment to go back to work as a doorman for work opportunity, and that's not even my own position. But I was able to fix it by calling unemployment, and people here in Hawaii know that, or in general, calling unemployment number is not easy. You have to be lucky, and spam calling does not work. So I had to develop techniques to call them, and luckily I was able to get through. When it reached December, that's when I heard good news. I found out Hilton was going to bring back valet service, and I would get my job parking valet back. So I went to the training December 16, and I had my first shift December 17, 2021. I was so happy to get my position back and work a valet parking shift again. It has been a long journey, and I thought my long patience paid off. Also, I was just grateful that Hilton didn't just get rid of valet service and just kept it to only self-parking only. So I'm just grateful for that. During the training, it was nice to see some of my co-workers, to see the supervisors, and they just explained more procedures on how a valet would perform their duties during this pandemic, and just a refresher on how to do your job. Yes, it sounds simple. You just park the car, check for damages, lock the car, don't lose keys, and when the guest wants the car, to retrieve it. But there is a lot of other things to do, and it really gets tested when you get busy and that you have to work fast, but make sure not to cut corners and not do things you're supposed to do. During the training, or even prior to it, I thought I wasn't going to get any hours at all, because I am on the bottom, the seniority list for parking valets. because before the pandemic there was about 23 full-time. So I figured I wouldn't be getting any hours and just be hoping just to get one shift a week at least. My first shift on December 17, 2021 went well. It was the first day for valet service and there wasn't too much cars in the inventory because it was the first day, but it went really well. It was mellow, peaceful. So it was a good first day. I didn't want nothing too crazy to happen. So since then, I've had 9 more shifts. 8 were valet shifts and 1 was a door shift to cover. So counting Christmas and New Year's Day holiday pay, I did make 88 hours for the pay period. So it was very good. So I'm very grateful for that. So going to this, I thought I was only going to get 1 shift a week because there's so many parking valets above me, but I only found out at the training December 16, and after that a lot of valets retired, quit, moved on to other jobs or moved. So luckily I was able to get all my hours back. So I am working full-time now, and I did want to ease into it, work 3 shifts a week at most, have a lot of free time, but I'm not gonna complain because a lot of departments and people at Hilton where I work at, they're not getting their hours back because their department is so huge and they're so staffed that, and they didn't bring back everybody due to whatever reason Hilton is thinking. I'm sure they have a plan, but I'm just grateful that I'm able to get all my hours back. So the days leading up to Christmas weren't too bad, but on Christmas Eve was very busy because people were checking in and staying through the New Year's. The valets were so understaffed that we were overwhelmed that the entry to the main lobby driveway was continuously backed up with cars and that it was just endless parking. And we honestly have to park a car and bring out a car at the same time, or else the amount of cars in the driveway would not disappear. But in doing that, we're gonna get stuck in the traffic going to the main lobby entrance. So it was very unfortunate, and I feel sorry for the guests that had to wait 30 minutes, 35, 45, or even an hour for their car. So we did end up have to do some techniques of finding shortcuts, how to get to the guests faster without going through the main entrance. Christmas Day was busy, but nothing too crazy like Christmas Eve. And after that was pretty peaceful, busy, but not too crazy. New Year's Eve was busy. On New Year's Day, there was a lot of cars coming in, but they were mostly returns. Check-ins, some had check-ins, but prior to that, most of them already came in the days earlier. So I was glad I was able to work hard and do my job, so time went by fast. So the worst part during Christmas Eve to New Year's Day, the shifts I was working, is that it's busy, you're getting overwhelmed. I like that I was able to park a lot of cars, but it didn't feel too good it took long to bring the car to the guests, but it had to rain really hard during those days. Like, you just get drenched, your hair soaked, so it's just an unnecessary factor, and I think it probably ruined some of the guests' days because when you come to Hawaii, you want to you know, enjoy the sunlight, go to the beach, surf, and and not deal with rain. So it was very unfortunate it had to happen. I am glad to have got my job back, working a lot of hours, keeping busy, and even though I do miss a lot of my free time that I used to have, it's just life. As an adult, you just have to work, make money, save money. So from now on, I'm just gonna be working a lot and enjoying my time at work. I get to meet new people, talk to a lot of people, and see nice coworkers at work. Well, I'm gonna just keep working now. Okay, bye.